current way you're leading life will lead you down a dangerous path of regret. You clicked on this video for a reason. Perhaps you feel stuck, unhappy, and not sure what to do next. Well, guess what?
You're not alone. And the culprit, the 13 traps everyone falls into. And if it's too late, you only think about them on your deathbed. Don't let that be you.
All right. So number one, waiting too long to define your purpose. Now, when you enter the discovery years, the old word was retirement, we're not really taught to what's our purpose going to be. We're taught to say, let's just chill and relax and take it easy. That will not work. That is not sustainable. That is not going to bring you energy, happiness, and joy. So you don't want to wait too long to figure out what is your next purpose in life. What is your next thing in this phase of life? Is it grandparenting? Is it teaching? Is it mentoring? Is it writing a book? Is it volunteering? You've got to figure that out sooner versus later, or you will start to deteriorate.
And the second thing is refusing to let go of that old, outdated identity that used to be you. You're not the old you. You're not the old title. You're not in the same old circle of friends. You may or may not have the same desires. You know, I know when I was working, I would plan everything. And my assistant Flower was amazing and she would add everything to my calendar. That structure meant everything to me. And when it was gone, all of a sudden I started to think about how did I used to fill my days? And I was grateful not to have to do that anymore. So I let go of that identity, but what was I going to fill it with? And that's where the first one that you talked about really came into.
Yeah, and the third one, which really follows that closely, is the regret of drifting without structure. Retirement drift kicks in, loss of identity, loss of community, not knowing how to fill your days with meaningful work, and all of a sudden you are now adrift. The only way to snap out of that, or one of the best ways to snap out of that, is start bringing some structure into your life. You cannot wake up, scroll the phone, look on the internet, watch TV for 3 hours. Lunchtime comes around, you're like, okay, what have I done so far today? Nothing. What do I have left to do? You can't live a fulfilling life by doing that day in and day out. So you've got to find a way to bring some structure into your life as soon as possible.
And while you're doing that, which seems pretty framework driven, you also need to not, ignore your social well-being and your mental well-being. You need to make sure that the anxieties that you're feeling, whether it's stress over, money, your living circumstance, your relationships, whatever it might be, make sure you're addressing them. Emotional resilience during this time in life is extremely important, and only you can determine where you are on the emotional well-being scale. A lot of us ignore that. And we sweep it under the covers. And we have neighbors that we run into recently retired, and we'll say, how are you doing? They're like, oh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm happy and I'm so busy. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? What's filling your day? That umbrella of being busy really is their shield from really dealing with their emotional well-being. So you have to stop ignoring that.
All right, the fifth regret is letting your health decline slowly. This is an hourly, daily, weekly, monthly thing that takes place. If you ignore your health, if you ignore your doctor visits, if you ignore what's wrong with you, if you ignore what you're eating, if you ignore your sleeping habits, if you ignore your high blood pressure, you are over time going to shorten your life. And that's a huge regret. So being proactive on your health and exercise and sleep and nutrition will have a profound effect on your discovery years looking forward.
Here's another one. Believing rest equals joy. Passive living can really be draining. This idea of I'm going to do nothing sounds great when you come off of a busy career, out of a busy, job, out of a title or owning or running or operating a business, being in charge, being the boss. Saying you're going to do nothing is great, but that passive living over time will really drain your spirit. Your spark needs to be nurtured and moved forward, not numbed.
All right, number 7. Do not let your fears guide your choices. Things like, what if I fail? Like you're thinking of trying something new. You want to become a real estate agent. You want to get a part-time job. You want to
teach tennis.
Teach tennis. You want to, teach yoga at the gym. Do not have this fear of what if I fail? Well, what if you don't fail? What if you actually are really good at it? And what if you really like it? And what if you have some extra income now that makes you feel great? So you've got to have a different mindset in this phase of life, your discovery years. Learn, practice, learn more, practice more, and then go teach and do something valuable with your skills in your life. In this phase of life, it will have a huge impact on the number of years that you live and the health during those years.
The next one, not building new connections. I have to tell you, I know it's hard, and I'm an extrovert, self-diagnosed extrovert. Mark is more of an introvert, but not building new connections really hurts because that old network does fade. It does go away, and isolation can lead you to stagnation, which you do not want. So seeking opportunities to put yourself in new experiences with new groups, saying yes more than you're saying no, and getting outside your comfort zone is extremely important. I challenge Mark on that every week because honestly, Mark loves Retirement Transformed. He could do Retirement Transformed 5 days a week if I would let him. And I don't mean it like that, but you know what I mean. So pushing him to join golf groups, join a men's group, do something in a faith-based organization, volunteer, getting out of the house is a push for you.
Well, I guess for me, it's almost the opposite is I need to throttle down my work, my passion in this phase.
Your alone time.
Well, and I need to throttle down this business time so that I have time available to meet friends, join the golf league and things like that. But I do find it satisfying, and we limit our hours, 10 to 15 hours a week. I'm the one that always errs on the other side, and you might err on, working less, which is fine.
Right.
We have it figured out. But the ninth thing that's really important, and it sort of comes from what we just said, is the regret of assuming that you and your partner are on the same page. We're on the same page a lot, and we're not on the same page a lot. And it just ebbs and flows and changes. And the big thing for Jody and I is making sure we communicate. Things like, Mark, it feels like you're spending too much time in the business. It's not allowing us time to play golf together, which is important to us. You're right. We need to figure that out. Let's schedule golf and I'll figure it out. So don't assume you're on the same page. And even when you get on the same page, it's evolving. This whole discovery phase for Jody and I is evolving. We have our 2 grandsons showing up tomorrow for 10 days. That's new for us. We haven't had that in a long time. And they're active.
Since Christmas.
They're 2.5 and 7. Yeah, but we were surrounded by the rest of our kids. It's you and me, my son, and 2 grandsons. We're going to be up and down on the floor. We're going to be building sandcastles and all of that. We're on the same page for the next 10 days. It's all about them. And I'm sure it'll be exhausted.
I'm so excited.
I am excited.
I'm so excited. The next one is, it's an interesting one, and it's neglecting your spiritual growth. Retirement really needs and deserves the inner work that comes with some spiritual work. We find it a connecting place for the two of us. We've gone on a mission to read the New Testament, the entire New Testament, by reading one chunk a day. And we kind of compare notes. Hey, did you get through today? Where are you? That's our way of doing some spiritual work. I also externally join Bible study groups and, finding ways that help me fill the stillness that can come in retirement so that it doesn't become emptiness. It becomes productive stillness time, if that makes sense.
Right. All right. Number 11, dismissing creativity as unimportant. That can be a huge regret. This is the time, our discovery years, when it's time to learn and grow and try new things and experiment. Because if you don't, you'll have this regret of, I wish I had, or if I only had done this, or I wish I had spent a little more time doing this. There's no need for that. You just have to open your eyes. You have to be curious. You have to try new things. And you have to say, you know what? I'm going to give that a shot. I'm going to try pickleball. I'm going to try volunteering. I'm going to try joining that men's golf group and not worry about my game that day or anything else, but just do it for the reason of being curious and social and feeling alive again and being creative. I mean, there's so many ways you can be creative today with all that we have in front of us, the computers and everything else.
The next one is thinking contribution is just for the young. That's crap. Your experience holds deep value. The world still needs you and your opinions. Mentoring, volunteering, finding some passion projects, all of the above can help you continue to be a contributor.
Number 13, I think if my dad was alive today, he would agree with this, that he over-focused on his money versus anything else. And I think that is something that we all need to be careful of. Money's important. We need money in this phase of life. But if your sole focus is that, and you're missing all these other things we talked about, you're going to have some regrets.
Absolutely.
I mean, he focused on his money really alone. He didn't focus on his health. He didn't focus on his relationships. He didn't focus on his kids. It was really sad to see his obsession with this, that over time he just deteriorated.
Yeah, absolutely.
You hear us talk a lot on this channel about habits. And maybe you've got some bad habits that you need to break yourself. We created a free download, is below, the 5 bad habits to stop while you're retired. So download that and use that as a tool to break some bad habits. So here's a couple questions that our team put together. All right, Sheila from Vermont. I'm 62 and just realized I've never truly forgiven myself for past mistakes. How do I stop my old regrets from poisoning the time I still have left? Sheila, what I would do is write down these mistakes, one at a time, every single one. Spend a week writing down every single one of these regrets. Now you have a list. Then spend, a couple days on each one. Really understand what is that regret. And you have to understand, you can't undo it, right? It happened. And you have to find a way to say, okay, I did that. It was wrong. Is there something I can do? Because maybe I did something to a person to call up and apologize. Or is there something I could do now to dig myself out of that hole? But just having these hanging over your head, like you said, day in and day out, is going to be a problem. Write them all down and find a way to make up for it, call someone, apologize, or use it as a lesson. These 32 regrets that you had, look at them as life lessons. And I'll never do that again, and this is what I learned from it. So really write them down, identify each one. How does it make you feel? What can you do about it? Probably nothing. And
then ball that piece of paper up and burn it.
Yeah, good
and
idea.
just say it's gone. In the methods of applied positive psychology, that's the way your brain lets go of things, to actually see something physically disposed of. And if you do what Mark said and go through those steps and have it all written down, ball it up, put it in a large ashtray or a metal bowl or something, and then burn it. That's the best way to let it go.
All right. What's another question?
All right. Another one. Troy from Michigan. You talk a lot about designing life in retirement, but what if I never learned how to dream for myself? How do I even begin to dream? It's a good question.
Maybe start with write down the top 20 things, top 20 experiences that you've had in your life that brought you joy. The top 10 people that come to mind as people that you really care about and love and have a good relationship with. And then start writing about some things that, realizing you're in the discovery years and you're 55 or 60, you probably don't want to take up, maybe parachuting is not the best idea, but start to think of some things you've always wanted to do, but you haven't got to it yet. And start saying, is it possible that I could do that? Is it unreasonable for me to think that I could do that? So start with some experiences you really enjoyed, add on to that some people that you really care about, and frankly, call some of these people and tell them, hey, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the fact that I'm having trouble dreaming about what life could be like for me. You know me pretty well. What are some things you think I'd be good at? And just start making it a conversation and part of who you are.
And I think the end of that needs to be, you know, a dream is a great dream. It's almost a wish until you put some action steps. What's my best first next step to getting to that dream? If I want to run a 5K and I've never run a 5K, what's my best next first step to start? And maybe it's walking, you know, a half mile a day, moving to a mile, moving to 2 miles, adding in a jog, you know, doing some timed running movement exercises. But don't just dream, because the dream will start to come, but then you have to put your action steps in.
And I want to pull back my comment about parachuting. Yeah, maybe parachuting is what you should do. There are people you see that are 90 years old and they're parachuting. I was trying to think of something where there really isn't enough time to learn. So what I just thought of was, maybe you've always dreamt about being a nuclear physicist. I don't know if that's can happen in 10, 20 years, but could be. Think of
There is a study that says anything you do for 20 years, you can master anything in the world. If I want to be a concert violinist, I could start today, and in 20 years, I could probably get there.
It takes 8 to 10 hours of practice a day, but it's possible. You're right.
Now, if I wanted to be a supermodel, I'm not really built for it.
Yeah, you are.
No, definitely not. But, you know, there are, you know, I don't know that would work.
Leave a comment below. Who thinks Jody could be a supermodel? Leave a comment below. Everybody wants to have a successful retirement, but we found 7 common mistakes that many people make that absolutely ruin their retirement.
We want to make sure you don't fall victim to them, and that's why we created the free guide for you to avoid them. Download it below.
All right. My husband and I retired at the same time, but we're living 2 totally different lives under the same roof. How do we reconnect without blowing it all up? Janice from Arizona.
Sometimes I feel that way with us, that we're kind of living 2 different retirements. If I get on a roll... Yeah.
So it sounds like maybe they're not talking, they don't get along, maybe they're fighting, I don't know, but they're disconnected in a way. She's looking for some help to bring it back. What would be the advice we would give them to start? I mean, I would say set aside some time to have a conversation.
And I would say show up to that conversation with things that are important to you, activities, people, experiences that are important to you. And as partners, you know, you don't both have to love doing the same things, but you do have to respect that each other has things that they love to do. So like, I love going to concerts. I would see anybody live, absolutely anybody, whether I like the genre of music or not. Seeing someone perform live in their wheelhouse of what they do best, I absolutely love. And you hate concerts.
So going back to your point of sometimes we find ourselves like Janice, where we're living different lives. I don't like live concerts.
No.
And you've go to live concerts with your friends and your kids, and I really just don't like to go. Now, does that mean I should go once in a while? Probably, but it's hard for me, and it's
late night. He doesn't get to eat a good dinner. He's up past 9 p.m. I get it. But I respect that.
Yeah.
But I've asked you to respect the fact that, like, if there's somebody I want to see and they happen to be in Manhattan, you know, at Madison Square Garden, and I can get there, I'll grab some tickets and go with some friends. So I think it's important to have your list of what's important to you, and your spouse or partner have their list of what's important, and then find things that you can connect on and things that you'll own yourself. Because I do think independently is okay too.
The other thing is, and I know when I got therapy from my first marriage, the counselor talked about 2 people are on railroad tracks and they grow apart. Everybody changes. But as long as you have railroad ties holding you together, you could be really far apart. So what are some of the things that you and your husband or you and your wife have, those ties that used to exist, let's say, but you've kind of gotten away from it? It'd be a good way to go back and say, let's start with a couple of things we used to love to do together, and let's start doing that to start to build a connection. And be kind and thoughtful and listen well. And don't say you do this and you do that. Just try to have, you know, ask the question, do we want to get closer again? Do we want to realign on what's important to both of us? Do we want to be happy together?
Right.
So, all right. My calendar is packed, but none of it feels meaningful. We hear this so many times. How do I break up the busyness and build a life that actually fills me up? This is Dean, who lives in Ontario. Calendar is packed, none of it feels meaningful. What can I do about that? Well, find a couple meaningful things and start bringing it into your life, whatever that is.
Sure.
Right?
I agree. I would sit down and look at your calendar and figure out what are the things that you have to do. What are the things that you don't have to do? What are the things that are just placeholders? What are the things that actually bring you joy? And start to categorize them. Even in color coding, categorize them. Yeah. Purple is things that just get me to the heart. Green are things that I kind of have to do. And yellow, those are my optional things. How many of them can I let go in a week?
And one last thing. I believe that having some structure at the beginning of each day starts to allow you to build a more purposeful life. Whenever you get up, get out of bed, this is my ritual in the morning, go downstairs, don't look at your phone, don't scroll, don't turn the TV on, have a drink of water. If you're a coffee or tea drinker, make that. Get out your journal, any kind of book, and just start writing about 3 things you're grateful for. I've been doing this for 7 years now. The first one is always Jody. Why am I grateful for Jody? 2 other things I'm grateful for. 3 things I'm excited about for the day. And if that's blank, I need to figure out some things to put in there to get excited about. 1 self-affirmation, 1 thing about myself that I'm really proud of or happy about. And then 5 things I really need to get done today. What's that list of 5 things? If you do that every morning for 30 days, I'm telling you, your life will change. It will just dramatically change, and you'll start to feel more grateful, more happy, and more appreciative for everyone and everything around you.
If you enjoyed this video,
you're going to like this one too.
Chronic loneliness is described as being lonely every day for 2 weeks, and that's worse than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So really focusing on your mental health. Physical health seems to make sense to everybody, but meditation, journaling, staying connected to people is really important.